Alright guys, so I'm going to talk to you today about more training related things now that we are progressing in the programming, doing a really awesome job of still tracking your habits and your meditation and your mindset. And something that I want to talk about today is basically focusing more on form over fatigue when you're in the gym. And this is a big thing because I'm talking in one sense about how I want you guys to really push and really improve your weights every single week and really be progressing, because most of the programming is only like 3 to 5 week blocks. So there is, many reasons as to why, we can keep pushing in terms of a progression. So in saying this though, the most important variable that we need to focus on when we're training is obviously form and technique. So technique over fatigue, and what I basically mean by that is if your technique is starting to slip out the window because the weight is too heavy, then drop the weight. And I agree with that for all exercises. There is a couple of reasons. Number one, safety first. We want you to be able to push a weight that you can control. At the same time, as you learn more about your body when you train, you have the ability to push yourself more under fatigue with good technique. And that's what we're aiming to encourage you to do by progressing with your RPE scales as well. So I want you guys to focus on really pushing, but always focusing back on technique over fatigue. Because if you are fatiguing faster than your technique in terms of your overall form, you may cause injury and or you may get bad habits forming. What we want to do is always focus on creating good habits when you're training. So the biggest thing to do is film your exercises. The more you film yourself training, you'll be able to see where your technique breaks down, see what's going on, and then progress forward from there. But if you're not actually visually seeing what's going on, it's going to be very, very hard for you to progress. And I still film myself training all the time, and it helps me so much by being able to really reassess the things that I'm going wrong with, and or maybe if I'm being too lazy and I can push it a little bit heavier, I can watch the video back and see, yeah, I probably could have pushed 2 or 3 more reps. So as you get to this stage, we are really trying to push you. We're trying to make you work harder in the gym, because if you want fat loss and you want to change in body composition, you have to work for it, guys. It's like anything else in life. It's not just going to happen by going into the gym and putting the same effort in that you put in before. If you're going into some sort of phase where you do want to change your overall structure, whether that be muscle gain or fat loss, so if you're trying to put on gains, it's the same thing. You're trying to train as hard as you possibly can, squeeze out another rep, push some more blood flow into the muscle. Same goes if you're trying to change your composition in terms of conditioning. If you're doing cardio, you want to push that a little bit harder. If you're training weights, you want to push out another rep. You want to add 5 kilos to the bar. It's all of these little things that are going to push you in terms of overall volume. And I think it's one of the variables that people slack off on the most. You think you've got the perfect program, but it comes down to application. Even though you guys are doing the same program, a lot of you, it depends how you apply it. And one person's going to apply it with a lot of intensity versus someone that doesn't apply it with a lot of intensity. The person with intensity is going to get more results, more overall strength gains, more overall fat loss. They're going to go hand in hand. But saying all that, remember to focus back on technique. So I always think it's the case that your first couple of sets should be really good technique wise. Then if you're starting to fatigue at the end of, say, your last set, last couple of reps, then that is a little bit more normal. So in terms of a technique standpoint and a pushing yourself standpoint, my general rule of thumb is if there's 8 to 10 reps and you're starting to fatigue on the upper end of the rep range, so on your 9th or 10th rep in terms of form and fatigue, and your form's starting to slip a little bit at the end, then that's pretty much a perfect weight. If you can do all 10 reps with completely perfect form, nothing looks like it's starting to fatigue, then it's probably not heavy enough. So I want you guys to find that fine line. Whereas if you pick a weight and that from rep 1 or 2, your technique is really crap because it's way too heavy, then drop the weight down. So find a weight that you can hit with good form for kind of near to that upper end of the rep range, and then work through it from there. So when you're training this week, I want you to really film exercises, look back at them yourselves rather than just posting them in the group. Posting in the group is great, but learn to start to visually assess. Even on just the simple exercises that you probably don't need feedback on, you'll be able to look at it more analytically and really assess whether there's things that you can improve on. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to go into the gym with the attitude of I'm here, so I'm doing the work. We want to go into the gym with the attitude of I'm here to do work and I'm here to improve. I'm here to push myself and I'm here to train harder than the next session. And I think that that's a massive, massive thing to focus on. At the end of the day, if you have the other days where you're going to the gym and you're feeling a bit shithouse and you know you just got to get the work done, and we all have those days, I guarantee you, I'm not saying that every single session is going to be 100%. It's probably going to be a 70-30 split of 30% average workouts and 70% really good ones. So if you go in on a day where you're feeling crappy and you go way too heavy on the weight, higher chance of injury again. So if you're feeling on those average days, always focus back on technique over fatigue. Go in, make sure your form's perfect, but just go a little bit lighter in terms of load. So I hope that helps you guys. I want to see you push it, but I want to see some like awesome technique videos this week. Really looking forward to it.